Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another scene set in Edessa, The Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight, we set our scene on another cold night in the countryside of Edessa. About a good, at least a mile, maybe even a few, outside the city proper. Set in the countryside. The dry, wilting heathland that dots the landscape of the county. And we hone in on a would-be guest, a traveller, a wanderer, sent from Prague to Cappadocia, from Cappadocia to Edessa. Her journey has been long. Long, painful, and trying. For both herself and her followers. She has travelled an immense distance over a significant period of time to reach this domain. And as her withered form travels down a lonely road, it winds throughout the countryside, meandering rather almost directionlessly, until it takes her through what was once smouldering ruin, what was once a thriving town, village. The place is lifeless now. It's more grey than anything else. The burnt wood, the blood that has long since evaporated and dried away. The bodies that have either decayed completely, torn apart by wild animals, and a lucky few put to rest. This was once a village, but it is now a ruin. The place is completely destroyed. She is fairly young, but she has seen this sort of scene before. They're not a necessarily uncommon sight in the Dark Ages. But this was a thorough act of killing and violence. Every building was destroyed, every life taken, the populace exterminated. And it almost speaks to her in a way as she passes through. As well, the events and actions that created this place have long since passed, have long since been committed. The shadow of death still looms over it. And she can still take it in. The lives lost and the dormant power created from such actions. And as she passes through what must have once been the town or the village square, past a dismantled church, She can see three people praying in what was once its, presumably its cemetery. Just tending to makeshift graves. Three people. As she passes, one of them gives her a glare. She's a rather broad-looking woman with a nasty scar on one side of her face, as if she's been clawed at by some sort of wild animal. Her eyes don't actually leave your sight until you leave the village entire. And so the lady known as Brigita makes her way to Edessa. What is Brigita doing as this person stares at her? Does she
Well,
just try and get out
she
of their
will
way? Does she want to
adjust.
engage with them? Or
Mm, she wouldn't engage with them, not before knowing anyone in the city, but she will adjust her hood, make sure that her face is pretty much obscured, and tuck her hand inside her sleeves like a monk and keep going, pretty much. Trying to be conspicuous.
inconspicuous, you mean?
Inconspicuous, yes. Sorry.
Do you want to roll me perception awareness really quick?
Do what?
Um, you want to roll me your perception awareness real quick, as you begin to feel a little bit ill.
Okay. Ah, God. At what difficulty I'm rolling?
Just 6.
Okay. 4 successes.
Ooh. Um, you feel unusually unwell. You actually feel like you have a mortal illness. Um, like you feel queasy. You got a headache. And it's you feel it as this person focuses their eyes on you. You feel this way. You don't feel right around this person. In fact, you feel quite strange, ill at ease, a little bit frail.
Hmm. I will gesture to the monks to keep up, to pick up the pace a little bit. So we're out of there.
Um, a broad, Caucasian bearded gentleman. Always looks like he moves to go after you, but the scarred woman, her hand quickly reaches for his shoulder and stops him. But her eyes don't actually leave you. In fact, her expression doesn't really change.
Okay.
But you're able to make your way out of the area. They do not pursue you, to your knowledge.
Okay, I have to make a note of that.
And as you leave this person's view, the sickness, the frailty, the almost flu-like symptoms begin to fade.
Okay.
And the unease in your chest um, vanishes. You begin to make your way out of the village.
Question: would the monks also feel the same thing, or just me?
Do you ask her?
No, I'm asking you. Out of
Well,
character.
um, well, you wouldn't be able to. Brigita wouldn't know unless she asked them.
Oh. Okay, I'll ask them then.
Yeah, they don't seem to give off any immediate symptoms. Like you were struggling to remain standing, as in you were stumbling. Or rather, you would be stumbling if you weren't putting effort into moving into walking straight.
Mm-hmm.
You felt a bit dizzy. You felt you had a bit of a migraine coming on.
Okay.
But if you asked them, they felt fine.
Okay.
In fact, despite the utterly dystopian nature of the place, they actually felt quite well. They actually felt like they were getting a bit of a second wind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You make your way. You make your way out of this village. You begin heading towards the city proper. You still have to go through one more village. It appears quite quiet. It's a lot larger than the one you just went through. Granted, that one had been burnt to the ground, quite obviously. Um, but do you feel the need to go off road, or are you just going to keep following the road? It meanders a little bit further before you make your way to the city.
I mean, would I have any reason to divert from my path? I don't think so.
Not really. You haven't encountered anything.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'll just keep following the roads for now.
yeah, you continue following the path. You have to rein in your mule a couple of times. It has shown itself to be very ill at ease in your presence. It's been very uncooperative throughout the entirety of the journey. In fact, you wonder if this acquisition was even worth it. Um, in many ways, the mule is more draining than it is anything else, given just how uncooperative it has been with you throughout this entire journey. Um, you keep going. You make your way through this village. Most people are asleep. You can see a couple of soft ambient lights shining through the windows, but other than that, it's quite a well. It's quite a wealthy little village. From what you can see, some of the buildings actually have a few of the buildings in the central part of the village actually have a couple of floors to them. This isn't just a bunch of huts. This isn't just a community of serfs and peasants. You see a few shops. You see an inn that is probably close to closing. As you pass by, there are men and women of higher classes here.
Yay, Zengad's home.
Hmm. Not that one.
Boo.
Yeah, wrong side of city.
Wrong side of the city.
What's the other village on the other side of the city?
The one she's currently in.
Yes.
I never gave it a name. In fact, I'm not even sure it'd have one.
Oh, Bishop.
The upper neighborhood or something.
41st Street. Uh,
Yeah. No.
but nothing really strikes you. There are a few guards riding around. the horses rear up in your presence and they have to be calmed down. The guards apologize to you. Then they give you a second look and they look a bit off at you and simply simply disengage with you. Until as you continue heading towards the exit of this particular village, this hamlet, as it were, this place of actual life where there are still living people, where there's still a community, where things are still happening. There are even a few people outside. You can see the farms off not too far away from the village. You run into a group of 3 individuals. Not these 3, not the ones on screen.
Why always 3?
They look to be city watch guard. Do you want me to make me a quick perception animal ken roll?
Wit and what?
Animal ken, as they ride on up to you.
You want me to roll wit and animal can?
Perception animal ken.
Okay. That is going to sting a lot. What difficulty? Standard, I assume.
Standard.
No.
If you don't have any dots in animal ken, it raises the difficulty by +1.
Do you have any dots in animal ken?
No.
Okay, then you fail.
Then I fail.
You just fail though. You don't botch.
Yeah.
You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. As these 3 armored individuals, fairly heavily armed, they wear heavy chain. They're much more well armored than City Watch, but they seem to bear their I won't say their coat of arms, but their means of identification. Means of identifying them as City Watch. Their horses again appear very ill at ease around you, but these ones double take at you. One of them.
Can I try something?
Yeah, sure.
Can I try to pretend to be praying on a rosary or something?
Sure. Make me wits subterfuge. I'm gonna roll their empathy.
Oh my god. This is going to be bad.
You get a single success.
Yes.
Okay. They see through your cunning ruse. If they double take, they look at you again. You pretend to start praying on Rosemary.
On Rosemary?
Oh my god, Evan. Rosary.
Rosary.
I know, but he said Rosemary.
I said Rosemary. I misspoke. Rosary.
Murder baby, murder baby, murder baby, murder baby.
Yes. Murder. Murder baby.
Come on, don't ruin the immersion.
Okay. And so the children were put to bed. They look at you, and they stop. And then he generally takes his horse out in front of you. It cuts you off your path. It rides directly in front of you. It just stops in front of you. The other 2 actually end up riding around you, but a fair distance. They kind of take their horses a few paces away from you, and just kind of hang off to the side. nearby a slowly decaying fence that hasn't really been tended to in a good few years. And the man looks at you. He appears to be a fellow native to the area. Fairly average build, maybe slightly stronger than the average mortal from the looks of his build. He's a little bit more. He's a bit broader than most mortals, but not by that much. He's his shoulders are slagging ever so slightly from the chain. It's quite heavy. And the horse seems constantly agitated as he's having to control it. But he does so with a fair degree of ease as he speaks to you. Madam, may I ask what you are doing within this place so late at night?
We're merely travelers and pilgrims. We were just looking for hospitality here.
Hospitality? From anyone in particular?
Okay, out of character. I don't know how to respond to that.
That's fine. You don't have to. Silence is always an option.
No, I won't be silent. I will say, we're simply visiting the city. We don't know any people here yet.
I'm impressed that one so sickly as yourself was able to make the journey.
It was not easy. But faith can be a strong motivator.
Your mule looks a little bit agitated. Is there anything... Did it catch something on the way here? Looks a little bit... the man looks a little bit amused. Kind of gives a bit of a sly smile as your mule is still just kind of making irritating neighing sounds and just is kind of pulling. You kind of... I assume you or one of the monks is kind of has it held by a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just kind of pulling away from you almost constantly because it's just not comfortable with you. You've managed to tame it to some extent, but it's still a bit of a well, it's a stubborn mule. What are you gonna expect?
It's an unruly animal. I guess we didn't have many options. So we had to buy that one.
Why don't you tell me what you're really doing here? That is he has just made a subjugate roll against you.
A what?
He's used dominate 2 on you.
Can't I resist that?
It's dominate.
Multi-generation.
Lower than hers.
Excellent.
God damn it. I'm here to present myself. to the prince.
Which one?
This is an interesting question.
I feel it's rather straightforward, dear.
I was not aware there are more than one princess around here.
Understandable. Then, if I may elaborate on this matter, we don't expect everybody who's arrived at the domain, of course, to know of this. But the one that proclaims themselves to be a prince of the city, the Ventru known as Chimera, is a fraud who has lost all control and right to rule over this city. And as such, her power has been ceded to the new prince, Herman, elder of the same clan.
So, to whom am I supposed to present myself then?
Brigita, you know that when you started on your journey from Cappadocia, so not too long after setting off here, you know that the person to be considered prince here was Chimera.
Okay.
You've only been on this journey for a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, probably been on it a bit longer, to be fair. Probably a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Something could have happened. Still a short span of time, though. Would be an awfully bad coincidence.
All right. Okay, wait. So I should okay, out of character. I should go to the old prince or the new one? Because if I was sent to the old one, I have to go to the old one, right?
Cappadocians seem to believe that Chimera is the current prince, but of course you left them about a week and a half ago. Something may have changed. You're not sure. It would be a very strange coincidence for you to just arrive this domain as the princedom has changed. That would be unbelievably unfortunate. Could have happened, given the fact that you've been gone a week and a half and haven't really heard from anyone since then because you've been on the road.
Perhaps I should first consult with my clan then. Would that be, acceptable?
Is that in character or out of character? Sorry.
That's out of character question about what.
You need to get into the city to do that.
Oh.
And currently, these particular trio of trolls are blocking your way on the bridge.
Okay. When
You can do it, good goat. You can do it.
okay.
Can I and one of my bird take a shit on them?
Your birds can be there.
Yes, they will shit on them.
Once more proving, children, that poo solves all of life's problems.
No, they don't. Tristan, you man-child. Well,
Hey,
you
look,
do see
man.
that happen, by the way, as a bird just flies above them and ends up literally taking a dump on one of them, which lands unceremoniously on their shoulder.
Terrible.
When I was
Disgusting.
set off from Cappadocia about a week or so ago, I was supposed to present myself to what you now say is the old prince. Was there a change in power within this week that I was on my journey here?
There has been. The prince currently leads a remnant court in direct violation of the current prince's edicts. You can roll me wits politics if you want to interpret that statement, by the way.
I have no dots in politics.
Okay, you can roll me perception empathy.
Okay, I can roll that. Give me difficulty.
Just 6. Unless you're using all specs.
Can I? I
Yeah,
mean, I only have one dot in aspects.
that's fine. Lower diff by 1.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 4.
Okay, you get the way he speaks to you. This comes across as really suspect. Your unnatural insight into him, like his body language seems a little bit off. It seems a little bit tense, maybe because he's talking with you, but it also seems a bit nervous, a bit suspicious with this particular statement. The way they speak and the way they compose themselves as they talk of Chimera being deposed, they seem to be genuine in that. But when they say remnant court, you're not sure the court is so remnant by the way they seem to act towards you. Like that doesn't seem like the most truthful statement you've heard this evening. It seems a bit off. And these people still haven't introduced themselves. You don't even know who they are. It's almost like they have said a lot to you, but haven't really. They've said a lot, but they haven't. They've been fairly.
I'll ask him to identify himself. I'm sorry, but to whom am I speaking, if I may ask?
One second. My name is Dastgir. I'm a neonate of Clan Venture and a child of the elder Herman of Clan Venture, and this means new prince.
Yeah, you and like 30 others, buddy.
Well, it seems that they have arrived at a questionable time. Would you be so kind as to point me to where other members of my clan are so I may consult with them?
I'm afraid they are currently with the rebel court.
If I may ask, when did this happen?
A few months ago.
You understand that this is in direct contradiction with the directions I have received.
And I'm afraid those directions must be mistaken, my good lady. Hey, Max, you there?
Yeah.
You a burb right now?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a burb a lot.
Mm-hmm. What's
And
up,
you
buddy?
live in this area. You kind of you handle the farmlands.
I do handle the farmlands.
Yeah, you've been informed by your animal compatriots of this, and if you so wish, you can be flying overhead right now.
Hey, isn't that just full of coincidence?
Okay. You notice that there are several mortals at the scene as well, though. There appear to be 3 monks who are set up behind this very pale-looking lady with bright red hair.
Who also wears monk's robes, by the way,
Yeah.
and a hoodie.
and a
Cloak.
hoodie.
Of course, I wear a
Okay.
hood and a
Hold
cape
on.
and a long cape because I have
Hold
to
on.
hide my weapons.
I
What?
got your cape. I got your cape. Hold on, give me a second.
Oh,
Oh
fuck.
no.
That's
Where did
okay.
I
Tristan's got you your cape. It's gonna drop on you any second now.
Oh,
Is he a
dear.
total nerd? He a total nerd.
Godverdomme, waar heb ik dat kutding gelaten?
Max, niet vloeken in het openbaar.
The fuck?
No, this is the amount of side eye I have for you right now. There you go. It's in the chat. That is a lot of side eye, by the way. That is above average amount of side eye.
Oh,
You
shut
know
up.
how many fucks we give?
This is a Dutch word for a lot.
No.
Are we all about let's all go to the lobby and beat ourselves up some Herman squad?
Yes, we shall.
So
I have something similar, but I don't have it here.
so
Oh,
that is
my.
what Brigita is wearing. This is now canon.
Totally not inconspicuous or whatsoever. Like,
Is all she needs is a scythe.
I mean, I'm not gonna I legitimately thought Max had just put a towel over his head for like the first 20 seconds there.
Actually, it should be noted. Something you recognize about the pale redhead woman, Brigita, as it were, is that she's kind of
Pale.
not just pale, but her skin's a little bit hollow. Like it's a bit clammy.
I'm gonna aura sight these people.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just roll me your perception empathy.
Sure.
go kill and attack, Gangrel. Go do.
Go
I'm
do.
not combat gangrel.
I was going to say,
Okay.
first combat gangrel.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
that's 4 successes. So you see that there are 4 K-Knights. One is the lady. The other 3 are the men that seem to be questioning her. It seems very like a very tense situation on the ground. What is Brigita feeling right now, by the way?
I'm trying to find the page.
Don't worry, I've got it.
Tell me
Just-
the page number.
It's page 196.
196. Okay. Cool. Light green. Very
That's always pleasant.
lavender. And dark blue.
Okay, so yeah, you can tell that the woman is deeply distrustful and suspicious of the people before her. And that she is, of course, a K-Knight, unless you have Deceptive Aura. The other 3, the 3 men questioning her are all K-Knights. The 2 off to the side appear to be very calm. The one interrogating her seems is largely calm, light blue, but mixed in with a bit of purple. There's a little bit of aggression there, not too much. It's very contained. Otherwise, largely calm. They're all K-Knights. The three monks have all human, and they're quite. Their aura is a bright shade of orange and light green that are somewhat mottled and static. They're quite anxious and afraid, and obviously very dubious of what's going on.
Right.
They don't trust the situation right now. They're getting a little bit anxious.
Right. How long would it take me to fly to the city at this point? To fly there and come back?
It would take you a little bit. It's like a couple miles outside the city.
It's a couple miles. Okay.
Okay, actually not a couple. It's like a mile, but it's still. It would take you a little bit. it'd take you like what in your bird form? Going full speed, like.
What kind of bird is he?
I think he's a falcon.
Are those not native to the area? I don't think so, are they?
Yeah. No, yeah, you get falcons in the Middle East.
Oh.
Okay. Brigita, you probably notice a couple birds kind of circling the sky. Other than that, nothing too out of the ordinary. Although such things are often dark omens.
So I can fly pretty quickly.
You can fly pretty quickly, yes. It would probably take you like 10 minutes to get here and back, like to get to where you want to go and back. Depends on how far you're going into the city, to be honest.
I mean, I can fly.
I mean, yeah, but like also depends on
You can teleport.
where.
So hang on. Basically, because this could help narratively speed things along rather well. For the purposes of myself, Saskia, and Evelyn, we could have easily have been in Zengut's wall, looking over at new possible positions for that big ass project, and becoming back to the city. So we're in the very, very, kind of entrancey area of the city. So
yes, I was precisely about to have you there.
Hooray!
Yeah, my plan was to fly over to the city, look for people that I know, and be like, "Hey, trouble, come get it."
You fly in that direction. You find you will very quickly find the very distinctive figures of Fumoshi, Irene, and Evelyn, all of which are extremely hard to miss.
Yeah. So a little bit later, I will swoop down. First, I will check if there's any other and see if there are any other humans around.
Humans? There are a few humans out. They don't seem to be. There are even some city watch out.
Okay.
There are also you do see the military fort by this town. The one that was built not too long ago, only a few months ago actually. There is a very heavy mortal presence there. All military men.
I will swoop down and land on a nearby tree and kind of just screech towards the trio.
Fumoshi, Evelyn, and Irene.
Yeah, in my bird form.
Oh,
We're
look,
in
it's a bird.
A falcon screams at you guys.
You know what? Fuck it. Because this is communicative AF, so why not? Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -1 is 5. Hi, it's Kindred. It's Kindred Bird. What's the Kindred Bird currently feeling?
The Kindred Bird. I just put the book away. God damn it.
I don't roll initiative on friends. Why would you make me do that, bitch? Yeah.
No, she rolls initiative. Lol. The Kindred Bird is currently. Let's see. There's light blue. There is. It's a little white, actually.
Such a pure bird.
And dark blue. And of course, the soul is pale.
What is dark blue?
Dark blue suspicious.
You know what? Famushi looks up at the bird, and he kind of he extends his. He doesn't see the bird, but it's weird. Aura sight can be used without the ability to see. Thank you, Auspex. It's even written in the power. I smell your colors, apparently. But he raises his hand up, basically, to see if the bird will come to his hand.
The bird's gonna fly over and lock its talons into your arm, but you have massive amount of fortitude, so it's like, whatever.
Yep. He says, Does anyone know this person? You know what? The bird's getting a pet. Pet.
The bird will try and peck at your hand.
Bird form diablerie, guys. It's fine.
Actually, he's going to still flap his wings and try and pull you along.
I do not know of anyone who looks like that.
No, you know what? Because he will make this mental connection. He'll go, the only person I've met in the city of this particular affiliation. Is it you, Master Dryson? Or Driston? I will take that as yes. You wish us to go somewhere, I take it.
He is flies off towards the direction that he came from.
Yes, this is going on. Brigita, you're still engaged in conversation with these people. All we would like is that you present yourself before the true Prince of the Domain. We do apologize for holding you up here. It's just that the situation in and out of the city is very unsafe for newcomers right now, due to the ongoing conflict.
Conflict? I mean, didn't you just say that the situation is, resolved? If there's a new prince, why would there be conflict there?
Christine, you are very, very quiet.
Sorry.
It's okay, I heard. Daskeda says, it is not a matter of who is currently prince, rather it is simply the threats that remain to it. Just because there is a new prince doesn't mean that everybody is happy with this new prince. We would not wish to see you or anybody else caught up in the crossfire. We know who our targets are.
So, what exactly are you suggesting, sir?
It's quite fortuitous that you ran into us. We would like for you to present yourself to Prince Herman.
You see, that's the problem, however, that I have different instructions and I need to clear this thing up first.
You are within Prince Herman's domain. His word is law. Not the words of your clan, whose dictates were made from thousands of miles away.
Is there a way for me to verify this? Not to be disrespectful to you, sir, but I don't know you and my instructions have been very different from what you're saying to me here.
Do you know former Prince of this domain or any others affiliated with her? If she was still Prince, I believe you'd be saying something similar.
I do not know anyone personally. I've been sent here.
How about this? Come with us to present yourself to Prince Herman, and this entire matter can be cleared up very quickly and succinctly. That's a dominate, by the way.
Oh, God.
But he fails.
Haha. Oh,
So you
That
feel
was
no
a clutch
compulsion.
fail.
It's a clutch fail.
You see, this is what happens when an inferior clan tries to deal with dominate. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, where do somewhere right now? Anywho. Yeah, you don't feel any compulsion, or if you do, it's so insignificant that you just brush it off. You can actually roll perception awareness diff 8
For what?
to detect if a discipline's being used on you.
Sure.
All specs does not help you with this roll. The difficulty is static.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 successes.
Yeah, you do feel a strange compulsion come down on you, but you shrug it off.
I honestly don't understand why you feel the need to do that, sir.
Pardon?
I will let him know that I know.
No, sorry, it's just there's a lot of background noise. What did you say?
I do not understand the need for this action, sir.
You seem to be very resistant, given the fact that I am currently trying to hunt down those that would destroy us. I need to know that you are not among them.
Have you ever seen me around here? I mean, before tonight, of course.
No, but you may have been called in by them. Our enemies have a long reach.
Purpose, if I may ask?
Pardon?
With what purpose would I be called in here?
To wage the very conflict I've been speaking of.
I do not understand.
I'll ask you once again. You wish to present yourself before the prince of this domain. We give you this option.
Caw, motherfucker! Caw!
However, you have been caught on some contradictions. The first thing you asked me was which prince. So this presents complications to me. I personally am not interested in such matters.
You will come with us. Okay, he succeeds that time. And that is when you hear a bird sound.
I'm gonna use some animalism.
So basically, Bishop, let's so that she does not get dragged to the murder hole.
It's not a murder hole.
It's a murder
You
hole.
say that.
It's a nice hole.
So basically, what's going to happen is Tomushi is going to basically walk out with Irene and Evelyn. Hi, girl.
I can run for myself.
Okay, in that case, I will carry Evelyn. Evelyn gets the very gentle cap. Evelyn
How
gets the
much
very
celerity
gentle
do you have? Because if you're going way faster, then fine. But you know,
I have celerity too, so yes, I'm
Okay.
going way faster.
fine.
What the heck? So, wait. So you see the sight of a bird screeching as this dominate command is made over you. You are aware you're being dominated, by the way. It compels you to follow them. But as that happens to you, a bird screeches overhead as what appears to be a blind man is carrying two women, rushing you and these men down.
This is acceptable.
By the
This is
way,
fine.
probably the bird can see that my aura is now pretty red.
Mm-hmm.
Purple.
Run.
Because of
Tomushi
the
can't.
lights kind of shit.
All right, yeah. So Tristan, you roll your. Oh, that's quite a good roll. That's 3 successes. So you get
I'm just trying to get a swarm of Yes.
Verbs.
Yes.
Okay, we'll say birds. I have to look at the form rules. Where are those?
I love how when Max yawns like that, he literally looks like he's in a death metal band. He just tried to hit the high note.
Thank you.
Well,
Oh god, where is the bestiary?
Uh-oh.
but yeah, no, he's not going to run at them. Basically, what Famushi does is he's going to kind of get in front of them a little bit. He's going to put down Irene. He's going to put down Evelyn. Basically, the idea is he had his arms because he's got potence 3, so they're pretty light. So he basically looped his arm around and under them, so he was kind of carrying them like that. And basically, they were sitting on his arms, for lack of a better word. And he kind of puts them down very gently. He brushes himself off. Then he stands back up to his full height, which is not tall or imposing at all. He's like 5'7".
Yeah.
To be fair, that's almost a full foot taller than Evelyn.
I mean, I don't have the short flaw.
She's 4'11", so.
Does she have the short flaw?
Tiny.
No, I think the short flaw requires you to be shorter than that. We'll have to look.
I think it's shorter than 5 feet.
Oh. Famushi then turns to the gathered kindred, and he offers a bow.
Irene will pull out her sword, though. But she will give courtesy as well. Hey, just saying.
Death and honor.
What can I say? Irene is done taking chances. The last time she did that, she almost died.
Just some blood spend, especially before we actually get into rounds. So let's spend 1 blood for... I fucking hate saying the name of this fucking discipline. Raw rending.
Raw rending.
There we go, thank you.
I like the way Evan pronounced it better.
And let's spend...
Bless you.
Bless you, Max. Let's spend an additional 1 for... Actually, yeah, no, let's spend an additional 2 for celerity. Or not for celerity, for dexterity. But he bows, and he's like, hello.
Okay, also, Brigita, you can roll your initiative, because this dominate command was for you to follow them. There's absolutely nothing to prevent you from just killing them.
What do I roll for initiative again?
It's your dexterity plus your wits. It's a single d10. Sorry, it's a single d10. And then you add your dex and wits after the roll, like as a modifier.
It's not for already rolling for combat
Are we
already.
already rolling for initiative? Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, Famushi's like ready to go.
I wanted to talk, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If not, well, I just make your initiative rolls now, and then you can talk.
Okay.
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 My initiative shucks. It sucks so bad.
I was going to say, I am not wearing my armor because I would not have walked out without wearing it, so...
I am wearing armor under the robe.
Yes, under the robe. Yes, apprentice.
Oh, that's not half bad.
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, no. If anybody has any words, by all means. Dastgir turns around with his horse, rather shocked. His horse again, kind of rearing at the sight of yet more canites, making the horse extremely nervous and uncomfortable to be here and difficult to control. So he looks away from you, Brigita. The other 2 guards have her off to the side. They kind of unsheath. They sort of have their hands on their swords, but they haven't unsheathed them yet.
Am I still under the influence of the dominate?
You would be compelled to follow him, yes.
So, what does that entail in regards to the fight that's gonna inevitably happen?
But basically, if you would basically have to continue following him around the battlefield.
Oh,
So
so
I
I
will
can't
point
be
out
mad
that
then.
Famushi's third eye does open for a split second. Hey, Brigita, what rank of your road are you on?
What rank?
What rank of your road are you on?
Rank. One sec. What the fuck is it? I'm 7.
Oh shit, that means I do actually have to step in and be, proactive and protective. Okay. He looks up and he says, "You're one of Herman's sons, yes?"
Yes, and I've heard of you.
Oh, and what have you heard?
Too much.
I had thought that myself and your father were friends.
You and he may be, but we're still on the opposite sides of this conflict.
Child, until you draw your weapon against me, I have not chosen a side in this conflict. Though waylaying poor unfortunate souls on the road is hardly becoming of the clan of kings.
I'm hardly about to let Chimera receive yet more reinforcements than she already has.
Is that what you think? Look at her. She is merely a traveler on the road, and you would seek to pervert her course and do her harm. Is this not the ultimate case of the strong bullying the weak? Is this what the clan of Ventru stand for?
I have no desire to cause her harm, nor would she have come to any harm.
Let's bandy that statement.
You can puny that statement.
Can I throw my amazing aspects into this?
Yeah, sure.
Hooray! Three hiccup.
He seems to believe his own statement. He doesn't believe that she would have come to harm if she presented herself to Herman. He is very resolute in his stance.
You, what is your name?
Dastia.
Hmm?
This was he saying that to Brigita?
Yes.
Okay, whoops.
I am Brigita. I'm of Clan Cappadocian.
Do you wish to go with this gentleman to meet with Prince Herman?
I don't feel I have a choice at the moment.
That is not what I asked. I said, do you wish?
What I wish is to consult with my clan and figure out what is going on because it seems that during my journey things have changed in this city of yours.
Things always change in this city.
She's not wrong. So, you wish to take her, noble knight, and she does not wish to go. You see how we are at an impasse.
I feel like this impasse has now become freeway.
In what manner?
Well, we want her to present herself towards Prince Herman, obviously. She doesn't want to. Now you're involved, and you don't seem to want her to do that either.
I want her to follow the path that she is meant to follow, or that she wishes to follow. She has committed no crime.
To be fair, neither of us can know that for certain, but I'll give it to you.
So, before she walks forward, he doesn't have a sword drawn or anything like melodramatic, and he just says, "Be the knight. Remember chivalry. She is no threat to you. Let her walk the path."
Roll me charisma expression difficulty 8.
Can I apply my enchanting voice?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, so sure.
One success.
Oof, only one. Hmm.
May I back him up on this?
You can attempt to make a roll of your own. What do you say to
Okay.
him?
Irene will put her sword away, clearly, and which is stupid, I know, but it doesn't matter. And we'll walk up like just one step behind Famoshi. You said you've heard of him, and you may not have heard of me, but if you've heard of him, you do probably know that he will keep his word. If he says that he will let her follow her path without intervening, then you can assure that we do the same, and that it will be her choice. This is
Meanwhile,
not a fight that you want to have.
in the sky, there's a swarm of birds just flying around.
Well, yeah, over the past few minutes, this has become quite noticeable now to everybody involved. There's a rather large flock of birds in the air. Yes, for real.
Can I make the roll, or was it that bad that...
What is Brigita packing?
Never mind.
Bishop
Oh.
asked if she could make the social roll.
Yes, you can make a social roll. It's charisma expression, same as before.
Yes.
Yours is a diff 8 because I don't believe you have enchanting voice.
Nope.
Fucking love that merit.
Watch me botch. Oh,
You get
2
2
10s.
successes. Okay. So one of you appeals to his sense of morality. One of you appeals to his sense of pragmatism. Both of these ring true to some extent. He doesn't really wish to be doing this, rather it's a sense of need. And also the fact that 3 rather powerful canites stand in front of them, well, one of which is flying above them, it does not fill them with confidence. In fact, with Evelyn and Brigita here, they're outnumbered and overpowered.
Let us not waste each other's blood over this.
Tonight.
I mean, no, not at all. Like, Irene will always prefer not to fight.
Daskia will look at Brigita. He'll look back to you, and he will say to the group, I will choose to let her pass, but if she becomes a threat,
I am sure Count Cappadocian would be very grateful that you let her go. This might
we
be a wise
both know that
move.
is not going to be true.
It is when the Harpy enters into the legend the boon that she will owe you for her safe conduct to the city.
Well, now you're challenging his sense of loyalty.
I mean, can we just not roll politics? I have a specialty in negotiations there. God damn it.
Sure. How does Brigita feel about owing this man a boon?
No, which one?
Saskia, the guy who more or less dominated you twice.
No, hang on.
No.
I think you might have heard me. I said it will when I give you a boon. For seeing her.
Oh.
I'm offering him a boon to see her safety to the city.
And Irene never mentioned boons. She just said that Clan Cappadocian might be grateful.
Yeah, and Saskia obviously responded, well, that's not going to be true. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I didn't imply.
I mean, I
didn't
do
imply
have a
that,
response to that, but
I didn't mean to imply that it was Brigita who would owe the boon. No.
Much better. Okay. That's better. In which case, Saskia will look at you. Very, very curious look, and we'll go, that is a very compromising position you put yourself in.
No, because I don't care who wins the Praxis war. I have sworn this to Herman and to Carmen. I will take no side in either. I will not fight for either. I'm not here to fight. I am merely here to make sure that you stay on the path of the noble knight, the path that bends you up, and that you do not fall and falter.
Didn't you send a letter saying you backed Chimera if she gave you all these concessions?
Yes, but she hasn't given them to me yet. Technically speaking, I'm not lying yet.
I mean,
Wily Salubri.
As far as I know, Clan Cappadocian has not backed anyone up yet. So their favor might be interesting.
Jesus. Saskia just looks up. Where the hell did all those birds come from?
Don't worry about it.
In any case, if this is an offer, if this is an offer you wish to make, then I shall accept it.
Very good. Lady Irene is the Harpy of Edessa. I would ask you to enter a minor boon in my name to whatever his name was. He's introduced himself, but I can't remember.
If both of you consent to this, of course.
Understand, no matter who wins this war, when the dust settles, all the old systems will still be in place. Boons will still have value. So, you have made a wise decision.
I hope that's true. And as he says that, he'll just whistle to the two other guards who've just remained aside for the rest of this conflict. They've had their hands on their swords, but they've remained silent. They've been ready for a fight but haven't initiated anything. He'll just whistle to them, and they'll begin riding off in the opposite direction, leaving Brigita and Co. all alone.
I will disperse the swarm.
Oh, as before he does that, he will dismiss the dominate command over Brigita. He does this verbally. He says you need not follow, and will ride off.
Brigida is going to turn to the salubri gentleman next to him. I I'm grateful for your assistance, sir. I did not mean to cause any trouble.
It was no trouble. But, Kristen, why don't you come down and say hello?
Flies, 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 flies.
Or you could be a dick.
Moshi,
Hmm.
I hope you do not mind that I doubt the choice that you just made. I do not think it was the smartest move we could have done.
In what
But
way?
I think we could have negotiated in a way that would not have made anyone pay boons.
More than likely. However, that man will now know the fact that we are willing to be reasonable and we are willing to welcome, well, not necessarily welcome them into our fold, but willing to extend the old courtesies and the old hospitalities. Bear in mind, when this war ends, there will be many leaderless neonates who will require people in whom they can place their faith.
I agree, and I will honor your arrangements, but I think most of all you have proven to them that you're willing to sacrifice. And that is not always the best. There was just the need for sacrifice there, not necessarily wisdom.
I thank you for your opinions on this matter. He will smile.
May I know your name, sir? And those of your companions?
Of course, I'm Famusha, Clan Salubri. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure as well. And the ladies by your side?
Lady Evelyn Lister, Clan Malkavian.
She's the littlest madman.
And by the way, just looked it up. Short Flaw is 4'5" and under.
Ooh. Nice to meet you, Lady Evelyn. I am Brigita.
Tristan will swoop down, land on the ground, behind the monks, so that they don't see him, and just transforms back into a human. That's a lot better. Don't mind me, as he just walks past them all. Well, that was a bit of a tense situation, wasn't it? I'm so glad we got rid of her.
And allow me to introduce Master Tristan of Clan Gangrel.
Hello! Hello.
Making your acquaintance, sir. I'm Brigita.
Well, yes, I've heard multiple times now. Hello, pleasure to meet you. Good to see you. I saw that you were in a tough spot there, and I was looking for a bit of help. I ran into these fine people.
And I owe you my gratitude then.
Oh, don't worry not. It's just
If I
some.
may ask, what exactly is the situation in the city at the moment?
Well,
Complicated.
complicated is the most that's the bestest word for it. Let us walk and talk, shall we?
Certainly. And Brigida would like to reach in her satchel and take out a letter with the instructions that she was given, so that she can see what she can confirm about the situation. In any case,
Excellent.
Um,
Let us make our way.
Master Tristan, I had a question to ask you.
I may have an answer.
His face is serious as he walks. He has his hands clasped behind his back. Why is it that your clan invaded the Ravno system, eh?
That is a loaded question and a loaded answer.
Yes, it is. An honest answer is something you should never fear to give.
Of course not. But perhaps not in front of someone that I don't yet know too well. However, if we were to speak by ourselves, I'd be more than happy to give you an answer.
Basically, we'll do a wonderful hand waving to say that they're going to go off and have a conversation, but they will come back so the scene can continue to flow organically.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But so basically, they'll lag behind for like 10 minutes to have a private conversation, and then whoop.
Whoop. Well, as for alone, Master Fimboshi, you are of the clan of the unicorn, correct?
Yes.
The 3 eyes, yes. Your blood must have some sort of a vengeance against the trembling ones.
We call them usurpers, but yes. They destroyed Sauron, who was one of the great hopes of our kind.
Well, I wouldn't say that my blood has suffered the same fate as yours, not by a long shot, but about a century ago, a pact was made that Clan Jareer would stop using the blood of my clan to create their stone abominations. I assume that you know what I'm talking about.
They're monstrous war constructs with stone and wind and claw.
Yes, those. They didn't stop.
Famushi stops dead, like as the head the third eye goes white, like it opens like really wide, and it looks at Tristan as the head turns, and I roll a frenzy check. Bishop, I'm going to need a difficulty for that one. Huh?
Oh dear.
I mean, is it public humiliation? Is it just a great source of anger?
It is not just a great source of anger, it is a source of unabided, bubbling hatred.
Yeah, I'll say it's indirect, so it's like -2 deaths. I'll say, because you're not seeing it, you're not seeing the results or anything. It's a difficulty 6 instead of 8.
Okay.
Please try not to murder everybody here. Okay.
He has 4 successes.
You do not murder anybody here.
But Tristan, you see like the look of anger come across his face as he clenches his hand so tightly into a fist that he's going to lean against a tree. He leans against the tree so hard that he leaves indents in the tree from where his fingers were.
An appropriate reaction.
And you can prove this.
I can't prove that they've been making gargoyles the entire time. What I can prove is that the Scourge has been selling members of my clan to them.
What? What? How can that is such an egregious breach of every concept of the traditions.
Well, if I may play he is the Scourge, and as such he is within his authority to remove foreign Canaanites from the domain, those that have not introduced themselves. This includes Canaanites that have been shipped here from somewhere else, as they have not been in the domain. So officially, it's not a breach of the masquerade or any of the traditions. However, on the scale of unofficial matters,
I'm going to kill him.
we, at this point, very eagerly await the court's response. And I hope that the court reaches an accord with the clan of the beast in this matter.
Bishop, can I ask a really loaded question?
Sure, load me.
I know. Oof. That's a big oof. Okay. Is it public knowledge how hierarchical the Tremere are?
Not at this point of time.
Okay.
It's the clan structure is actually, considering how young the clan is, they've only their organization is actually fairly new. You know they're incredibly tight knit. You don't know how hierarchical they are.
Okay.
Like Tremere do not turn on Tremere. You have never seen it in the century and a half that they've existed. It just doesn't happen.
Do I, okay, because I have a 5-point enemy flaw. Do I know who my 5-point enemy flaw is? Because he's the high muckamuck of the Tremere in Antioch.
Mm-hmm.
And he styles himself as Lord of the Tremere of this area, doesn't he? That's his actual style.
He considers himself the leader of all Tremere in the county of Edessa.
He looks at Tristan and he says, "What if I could bring you their leader? Not just the one here, but the one who oversees all of their affairs."
I would say that is a decision that I cannot make on myself. By myself, I'd have to meet with my fellow gangrel and discuss such an opportunity.
If there were gargoyles being made within this area, he would know.
Then I cannot make rash decisions that would endanger further unlives of my fellows.
I understand. Actually, yeah, hang on. Quick important question. Who is Tristan actually comfortable having this conversation with, or is it just me?
You and Irene.
Okay, me and Irene.
Oh, bye, Brigita. Bye, Evelyn.
Sorry, I don't know the other two too well.
We'll be done with this really shortly. It's just this is information we were going to hash out. It's the first time I've seen Max in a scene. Max.
Yeah.
Bishop, I have an important question. Because everyone sees gargoyles as monstrous, right?
Yes. Pretty much.
If Dristan can produce his evidence, can I trip my level 5 ally to force the Tremere Lord, basically Zarathustra, force the Tremere Lord to come here and stand trial for his actions? If we can present Zarathustra proof that he has been complicit in the making of gargoyles.
Well, it's well known that Tremere will make gargoyles. It's kind of part and parcel. It's just not a lot of domains have the power to do too much about it, because you turn on a Tremere and then they just sickle their new gargoyles on you. And throw fireballs at you, and no real Canite likes that. So that and chantries by themselves are literally magic fortresses. They're actually incredibly hard to bring down. Like a direct assault usually ends up with an overwhelming victory for the Tremere, because it's just you go into the chantry, you get lost in it, and then the Tremere just kill you using the chantry half the time.
So what you're saying is we need somebody with Potence 9 to yeet the chantry.
You need someone with Potence 9 to use the flick power on the chantry and blow it down.
I'm not there yet.
It's okay, Irene. We beleave in you. Yeet that chantry, damn it.
Then we're going to yeet the chantry.
Okay. But anyway, anywho.
So, Tristan,
Yes.
if you want to, I can try and find out what has been discussed so far in court regarding your situation.
If that would be something you'd be willing to do, I'd be I would appreciate it.
Of course.
One way or another, you will have our support in this matter. Clan Gangrel will have our support in this matter. As of yesterday, I now officially speak for all of the Salubri within the domain of Edessa, and hopefully, within the next few nights, we will be redeclared a clan. So I will stand as its primogeniture then.
Master Fumoshi, I would recommend you have a word with my own primogen Gaia.
Did you say you would have a word, or I should have a word? I didn't quite hear you.
No, he said I would recommend you have a word with my own primogen.
I think that may be wise. He basically what Moshi does is he's going to kind of he always keeps a back or knapsack with him. So with his third eye open, obviously because it's very difficult for him to write without it, he is just going to write a very short missive, basically formally asking for an audience with this individual because he's polite and old school like that. And he's going to hand it to Tristan to basically make the formal to give her the formal request for an audience.
If you wouldn't mind, I would like to be present during this conversation.
I have no objection to this.
Thank you. Irene,
Yes.
in the coming nights, I also have an appointment with Ulrich to discuss this chain of events. So things may change slightly in Timuran. I don't yet know how Ulrich will take this.
Do you wish for me to be present?
I don't quite know how well I will be able to handle myself.
I would not be very happy if you did something to my sire. Not that I think you can, in all honesty, but...
Why, your vote of confidence is endorsing.
I trust my sire completely.
I know.
Also in the capability of handling himself.
I am very, very familiar with his capabilities of handling himself and others.
Oh no, I can't blush. But oh my god, she would have blushed.
But you're welcome if you so wish. Just these are matters very personal. So I would like to have these words. This conversation is a little secret, if you so will. Unless it is time to, as they say, ride forth into the night.
Tristan,
You have one. Oh, sorry.
whatever happens in Timuran stays in Timuran. If I were to use the information that I've got from that city, and if I were to throw that all around here in Edessa, I would not have been Harpy for very long, nor would I have been in the graces of my sire for very long.
I'm aware. I'm just stating the obvious for obvious reasons.
You tried
You
to
have my
retire from
dismissal.
being a harpy.
But I was also refused, so I might as well play the part, god damn it.
Hey, there you go.
But with that, I think that they will speed up again and go back, and so that other people can roleplay. Yay!
Yay! I'm actually going to turn into a bird again and fly away because I have to go to bed.
Tristan. Everybody sees Tristan transform into a bird, and he begins flying off.
Wishing a pleasant evening to you all, both in character and out of character. Yeah, no, I'm a go deliver a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me, glorified mailbird.
Yep.
Caw, motherfucker. Caw.
Caw,
Right.
caw, caw, bitches. All right, good night.
No.
All right.
But yeah, no, he is. We're going to probably lead the good old new Cappadocian to one of the known Cappadocian domains, so she can find friends.
So you're not gonna tell me anything?
I mean, you can ask us questions if you like as we walk.
Yeah, I'd like that. Is what this man said true about being an old prince and a new prince?
Herman has challenged the praxis.
Technically speaking, right now there would be no prince.
This is very strange.
No, this is politics.
How long has this been going on?
Handful of weeks.
I believe so.
Hmm.
Oh, on a side note, because he was going to do this earlier, but then again we were rushed off. Evelyn,
Sorry, armful of angry baby.
it is fine. Famushi has a present for you.
Teapot.
Yay!
He will remove a different teapot.
Aw.
This one has flowers on it,
Ooh.
and he will give her a tiny teapot.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you.
I've often found that tea is best shared with good friends.
Indeed.
But as they walk, he'll say, "So you come to us in a rather tumultuous time, it would seem."
Yes. I was, as you can see in this letter here, as you will pull out the letter from the section, I was instructed to present myself to what would be considered like the old prince, I believe.
Yes.
Um, so if I
What's so
may
funny, Bishop?
ask,
Nothing.
if
Are you
I,
looking at spicy memes?
No.
Continue.
Brigita. Continue. Don't let Fumoshi take off track.
yeah, if I may ask, where do you stand in this conflict, so to speak?
I like to think that silence is in character.
So he just decides not to answer you.
Okay.
No one here answers.
Nope.
What he said is that my clan is not on the new prince's side. Do you know of this?
The Clan Cappadocian hasn't openly declared for one side or another.
I would hope so. I don't see why we should concern ourselves with such affairs.
Well, Edessa used to be a Cappadocian princedom.
Well, I personally have no interest in such endeavors. Perhaps other members of my clan see things a bit differently.
I'm sure everybody is very happy to know that the new arrival is not looking to take over princedom.
Out of character, she doesn't give a damn about any of the worldly things. All she cares about is death and dead
I
people.
mean, it was a
Things like
joke,
that.
so Irene has like a smile on her face as she says this.
Ask Corrington to declare for one side or another.
So, to whom am I supposed to present myself then? If there is no prince.
More than likely the eldest of your clan.
Bishop, who is at the moment the eldest of Clan Cappadocia? Is it late? No, it's not
The
Astor,
two
right?
eldest Cainites are Lady Astor, the
It's
child of Wyjan and the grandchild of the former prince,
yeah.
and Lucretia Giovanni.
Okay, yeah, no, Astor. So
Well, I don't know the other one. Okay, let me rephrase this. Which one of them is easier to find?
Oh, Lady Astor.
Then that's where we're taking it.
exactly. I mean, sorry, we're gonna take her to Astor, even if you thought the other one was a better idea, because no.
Boo,
How much
fuck you and your
notion up there?
foreshadowing. Yes, Brigita, yes, be friends with the Giovanni.
Are you serious?
It's still like 300 years till the Feast of Folly. Shut your
Yeah.
fucking.
Only 237.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like Irene knows Lady Astor, and she's at least more public, so yeah.
Lady Astor's pretty well known in the city.
hmm
She actually lives in a noble's quarter.
I know. I know.
Fortunately, you are a very famous noble person, or rather, you're
I-
a very you're a well respected noble person. Not necessarily famous. You have no dots in fame.
I'm a very famous poor person.
Um,
I mean, I'm not quite sure if that makes it better, Evan.
as it turns out, the more famous the poor person is, the more they come to hate them. Fuck off, Robin Hood.
It's fine. He lives with me.
That's
Will
right. Yeah, you're the blind manservant.
will the monks be safe in this neighborhood?
Pardon?
Of course they will if they are traveling with me.
As the conversation goes on, so we can kind of do a board wipe to go to Lady Astor's house. I'm going to talk to Evelyn about tea for the next 45 minutes.
Okay, so you go with Lady Irene all the way up through town, all the way up through town, through the slums, through the merchants district, through the bazaar.
Can we wave at Omar Shadid as we walk by?
Yes, because we always wave at him. Oh, and we'll maybe to point out to a new person, like, oh, if you want to meet more people, this is the place to do it. But don't do it in the shop. Go upstairs.
Okay,
So there you go. Now you have a reason to be there.
okay, Omar Shadid
Where?
wave at you.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Omar Shadid. Back to the scene. Um,
Omar Shadid was, in fact, the MVP of the scene.
yeah, it was.
Yes.
I mean, how can he not be? He saved the day once again. What a fucking guy. No, you head up to. So you don't really know where Lady Astor lives. You know where her domain is.
hmm
But it doesn't take you long after entering her domain that she actually approaches you personally. She literally just walks out of her building and approaches you with no provocation whatsoever.
Cool. Curtsy.
Or recite.
What are you aura citing?
I
Just Astor?
think the answer to that. Yes, Lady Astor.
Okay.
5 successes.
Unfortunately, don't find anything interesting here because it was the Merchant of Bones who got to eat by Jean and not her. So that is sad. Her aura is calm, slightly suspicious. So it's light blue mixed with a bit of dark blue, and they're quite mottled. That's really it. She seems calm, but a bit confused and suspicious as to why you're here. And it's fairly plain to see on her face as well. She has an eyebrow raised as she approaches you, and her soul is her aura is quite pale as well, representing her as a vampire. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What brings this motley crew to my domain?
Lady Astar, it is a pleasure meeting you tonight.
Harpy Irene.
I hope that you are well.
Always. How may I help the rising star of Edessa this evening?
You can die! Roll initiative.
Rawr! Nom nom nom. No. God damn it. Actually, I came here to, well, introduce you to another rising star of the city, hopefully. One of your clan that we came across just outside of the city. She'll kind of,
Rescued, I think, is the correct verbiage.
she'll just, kind of look at Brigita so that she can step forward and introduce herself.
Yes.
The person you see before you, Brigita, is a slender woman of some height. She's fairly tall. She kind of stands above you and Evelyn and Irene, and pretty much all of you actually, even for Moshi. For Moshi's quite small though. She seems to be of mixed descent, and has a very authoritative aura about her. Her hair is long and black, her skin is very pale, the deathly pale of Clan Cappadocian, but her features are quite elegant. It's really only her pale pallor that really gives her away as a Cappadocian.
So Brigida will step forward and not exactly a bow, like a nod with her head, and she will present the letter and speak. My name is Brigita. I was sent here from Cappadocia with these instructions. I understand that there is some strange situation in the city here, so I will have to consult with the rest of the clan, I assume, or the elder of the clan.
She cuts open the letter with her nail. They're kind of long and rather sharp. She just begins reading. I see. Interesting. Well, I hope your baggage doesn't follow you here, Brigita. You'll need to meet the prince. Given the current situation, she tends to move around a lot, but I can arrange a meeting for you.
From what I understand, from what I've been told, there are two currently claiming this title. So to whom will I present myself?
It is Prince Chimera who wields all the control. The others are pretenders using mass-embraced canites to try and brute force their way into the domain. They have insofar been unsuccessful. They have at most destroyed a handful of canites.
I see.
Are you always so callous in the matter of life and death, Cappadocian?
I simply state the facts as they are. I am not callous about it one way or the other. I do not revel in the deaths of others, but the simple truth is that these individuals are dead, and that the inability of these elders to destroy more of us shows how inept that their war on us has been. It is not a matter of morality. If I was to be asked whether I would prefer these individuals dead or alive, I would clearly say alive.
Foolish shrug.
At the end of the day, not sure I should say, at the end of the evening, all that has happened so far are the two competing princes throwing their respective pawns at each other and expecting a conclusive result. Which isn't really what I would expect if I were to just throw my pawns at the enemy. I'd expect them to fall over and die.
Well, the gentleman that stopped me seemed to believe that they were on the winning side.
Of course he'd say that. He wants to win, and he'd want you on side.
Then I am glad that this gentleman stepped in, because I didn't have any options.
You all have my thanks for aiding my clanmate.
We merely helped another traveller on the road. There is no need for gratitude.
Still, I feel obligated. It is unlikely you'll be able to see the prince this evening. She is preoccupied with this conflict, and as inept as Herman and his lackeys have been, currently the state of our court is nothing to be proud of either. If I may have... Now, this is something we can discuss later.
An eyebrow raises. What was her emotional state when she was about to broach something? Yeah, flicker.
Her aura switches to lavender and dark green, briefly.
What are those again? Because I don't have my color chart up.
Conservative or thoughtful, and envious.
What is it that you want from us, Lady Astor?
I wish for nothing from you.
You were about to broach a topic and then decided to withdraw.
Yes, with Brigita.
Ah, wonderful.
She eyes you. She looks a little bit slighted. And then turns her gaze back towards Brigita.
Death to you, you road of bones, motherfucker. Oh, continue.
Do you have any place to stay this evening, Brigita?
I have not really made many arrangements. If you can suggest something to me, I would be very grateful.
The entire time you say that, her eyes closed and she takes in a heavy, very artificial sigh. There will be no need. You may stay within my domain for this evening.
I thank you, Lady Astor, for your hospitality.
I must also introduce you to the rest of the clan. The rest of my lineage resides here. Lady Anne, Baylor, and Ledger. And also one of our distant cousins from Venezia. Brigita, you have Cappadocian law, yes?
Yes.
You can just roll that to see if you know what she's talking about.
Help me here.
Intelligence plus clan law.
Okay, so clan lore, I have 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Standard.
Just standard. Because it's clan law.
3.
Okay, you get 3 successes. Yeah, you recognize when she says cousins from Venezia, you recognize this sort of turn of phrase or this sort of term or phrase for a very specific type of Cappadocian, often identified by their largely Italian descent. You have heard of a offshoot of the clan specifically embraced for the purposes of research into the Shadowlands and into the Shadowlands and Wraiths. A family of merchants and mortal magicians, before they were embraced, he recognized them as the bloodline of Giovanni.
It will be a pleasure to meet them.
Excellent, then I shall make the appropriate arrangements this evening. She just snaps her fingers. At nothing in particular, to be honest.
So sauce. Sauce.
Well, if I may, I should not keep us all on the street any longer, and I should get my clanmate up to speed. I appreciate you. Again, I thank you for coming to her aid. It's most appreciated. But I believe I should be seeing to sating the young one. Forgive me, dear, but you do look a tad peckish.
Well, not many chances on the road. And my companions are rather tired as well.
There'll be more than enough space and comforts for them to rest of it. But yes, I would wish you all a pleasant evening, and please keep me informed if any others, such as Lady Brigita here, suffer a similar situation. I'd like to see what I can do myself to ensure that the situation does not occur again.
Of course. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you again for your assistance. I hope I'll be able to repay you in kind someday.
Mamushi will put his hand on Irene's shoulder to be led away. Yay! Fine friends.
Yay! I'm officially a walking dog now. I don't know how you say that in English, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh, guide dog.
That, yes.
Guide Pupper,
Guide pupper.
as Lady Astor simply puts a slender, cold hand um, around Brigita's arm and will guide her into one of her many homes. And yes, is there anything else Brigita would like to do? Maybe just have a slightly extended conversation with Astor, or
Ah, maybe a little bit for regarding the situation in the city, so I have some more insight into what the fuck is going on. Or maybe what she was trying to say before, maybe she can say after, whatever that was.
pardon?
When she tried to say something and then she stopped. Maybe she could continue saying that.
What should she guide you in?
Didn't hear you.
What does she do? She'll guide you in. And she'll bring one of the servants to you to feed upon. So she does. As she walks through the estate, and or as she walks through the house, she sees two servants and tells both of them to follow. She leads you into the living room and sits you down, and you are confronted with an average-looking man and woman, both in their mid to late 20s. She says, "Please, sit yourself. After the long journey, I doubt your herd is fit for such a purpose."
Indeed, I thank you. Have to roll something for that?
No, you can just feed off these two people.
Alright, I'll feed off these two people.
They literally just kneel in front of you.
And I will not feed from their necks, though. I'll feed from their wrists.
Yep.
Because I don't want to be too close to them. Ew, leaving people.
My apologies.
Oh, you have nothing to apologize for, my lady.
No, there should have been more forewarning about what you were getting yourself into.
Well, I don't know if anyone could have known of the extent of the situation, honestly. I am glad that it's over. I didn't appreciate being dominated.
If you do.
You were about to say something when we were outside. May I
Yes, you come
inquire?
at an inconvenient time. Just as you arrive from Cappadocia, it appears our Primogen has been recalled.
I can assure you I did not meet anyone on the way here. Our paths didn't cross.
If I recall, I believe they were getting a ride from the ferryman through the Shadowlands. You would not have bumped into them.
That does explain it.
But it does mean we'll be we will be picking a new Primogen soon.
Well, I only hope that this whole affair is resolved. It's quite a distraction.
It will resolve itself when Herman is dead and in the ground, along with his servants. Of course, this is the more obvious threat.
Well, if I can be of any assistance, I will offer you whatever skills I possess. If
We
you
may
can
need to
start.
get to work soon. The body count is increasing and the silence is being stretched to its limit.
I assume this conflict needs to end at the soonest convenience. I mean, out of all the rest of the kindred, we are the ones in the most danger due to our very nature.
Speaking of which, did you encounter anything else on your way here?
Actually, yes. I almost forgot about that. There was this destroyed village outside of the city. Um, there were three individuals. I didn't pay much attention to them except for one. It was a woman. She had a scar on her face. It was, I believe, like a claw mark above her left eye. She was staring at me, and it actually made me feel physically ill. Like 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 Kine would.
Worrying. Where was this village? East side.
On the east.
Hmm.
My companions did not feel such effects.
Strange. Could have been isolated to one individual. Could have been a targeted route as opposed to one that affects a wider area.
I did feel quite a similar sensation when close to the Harpy Irene. Come to think of it, just not the same intensity. It was quite strange.
This bears investigating.
Well, if it helps you, the three individuals there were seemingly praying at a cemetery.
I presume for the dead, yes.
And one of them had a beard. One of the others.
This may be a shock to you, dear Brigita, but many men have beards.
Indeed, but this is the only characteristic I really focused on at the time. It wasn't easy for me to focus under the circumstances, so I apologize if my descriptions are not as accurate as I would want them to be.
Hope it merely necessitates further investigation.
I do believe, however, that I could recognize them if I were to see them again, if that would help you.
Pardon?
If I were to see these individuals again, I could certainly recognize them.
I see. Well then. The clan has its work cut out for it.
Speaking of work, would I be able to find something in the city? I do have some skill in carpentry.
Speak with Baylor. He works a cemetery in the Prophet's Quarter.
That would be ideal for me. I've worked at a cemetery all my life.
I'd also recommend speaking with Padre. He's never been quite the same since the Wishing Woman did him in, but
I don't know what you're referring to. I assume I will find out soon enough.
the Wishing Woman is a Methuselah of our clan. Very powerful, currently present within the city. Almost sundered it entirely with a plague, concocted with the cooperation of a Nosferatu.
Great.
She's still present here. I would not recommend engaging with her.
I thank you for your warning, lady. And
We currently have an understanding with her. We are mutually assisting each other against the threat that is the infernalist known as Mary the Black.
I see we have our hands full.
Yes, and we have this idiotic distraction to deal with from Herman and Co.
Well, thank you for all the information that you have given me. At least I have some insight on what's going on. And I thank you for your hospitality. I will not take any more of your time, my lady, and I would be very grateful if I would be given some time to rest. I'm weary of my journey already still, and it's getting rather late.
It is not when it gets late that you should be concerned, dear Brigita.
Well, early rather.
I said late. Now you're just willfully misinterpreting what I'm saying. You're just willfully going out of your way to create
Everyone
these
hears
situations,
what they
aren't you?
want to hear. That's how it is.
Yeah, Saskia's being a mean bully. Rest orders go. I shall leave you to it. Call the servants if you need them or if you need additional.
I do not require anything special. Even a corner at your basement would be enough for me. And I'd be grateful for it.
Astor rubs the bridge of her nose.
What now?
She rubs the bridge of her nose and she says, "There's no need to be so wallowing. There are plenty of bedrooms in this house. I think you'll find they're far more comfortable than a corner of a basement."
I will do as you desire, my lady. I personally don't have any specific preferences. I'll go where you tell me to.
Good. Up the stairs, second room on the right.
I thank you, and I hope you have a nice rest of the evening. And Brigida will excuse herself and go sleep.
You read for a few hours, then you go to sleep when the sun comes up. And I think with that, with Brigita safely nestled within the domain, we can call it there. Thank you, players playing. Thank you all just watching. Welcome Christine / Brigita, and we'll see you all next time.